This week we are in Pichilemu, Chile, exploring one of the most stunning residential studios at the southern edge of the world.
Welcome to the studio. Come on in. We actually finished building the studio about 2.5 years ago. I mean, from the moment we connected the very last cable, the final patch, that was back in January. So it's been a full 2.5 years since then. Look, when we decided we were going to get a console, I really started exploring different alternatives, specifically in this format, this size, with roughly this many inputs. And I found myself choosing between, I'd say, about 3 main options. There was this one, the SSL origin, and I also gave serious consideration to an API. But what ultimately made me commit to this option was, basically, apart from the fact that it is a Neve and truly sounds like a genuine Neve, and we actually have 16 channels of 1073 preamps, it is really the fact that it offers full digital control over all of the analog equipment. Now, what exactly does this mean for our workflow? Essentially, I can be right in the middle of a recording or a mixing session, and then I suddenly need to move on to something else. I can go over here to the console computer, go to the specific filing tab and save a snapshot or even a preset. Then, the entire console configuration is basically saved directly onto the internal console computer rather than on the main studio computer. So then when I need to return to that project later, with just a simple click of a button, I can essentially restore the console to precisely how it was configured at that exact moment. And that, for someone who does hybrid mixing on a console, is priceless. Not having to do the whole recall later by hand for every single parameter while checking through a photo. It would have been absolutely crazy. So that's essentially why we decided to go with this one. We ordered it directly from the factory, Neve, over in England, specifically in the north of England. It took them about 2 or 3 months to actually make it, and then it was about another month for it to finally arrive here by ship.
4 months?
More or less. Yeah, I'd say it was like 4 truly terrible months.
I love it.
This is the compression bay. I think everyone here who is really into music production and audio knows the LA2A very well. This unit works incredibly well on almost everything. At some point, someone actually referred to this gear as the Betterizer. We all first knew it from plugins, first by Waves, and then eventually everyone else made their own emulations of it. These are the tweakers. They're like Kush Audio's answer to the distressors. They have a ton of controls, they have drive. Plus they have controllable saturation, it has a knob for drive, different compression modes, flat compression, treble-only compression. You can kind of shape the signal in a very complete way. Then we move on to the empirical labs, the distressors. We all know the distressors, they work on everything, great pieces of gear. And the Fatso, which is like 2 simplified distressors in one, which also has the warm functionality, providing that characteristic warmth, much like what you'd get from a classic tape machine. Well, then we keep going up. An 1176 clone by Stam Audio, a Chilean brand made here in Chile, in Viña del Mar or Valparaíso. Then further up we have the 500 series compressors and the typical 1176 revision A for vocals, as well as this other 1176. These are really nice equalizers, the Kush Audio Electras, and they work well on everything because they are clean EQs. Then we continue over here, where we have more preamps. It was very important for us to have 2 preamps. I think every studio, as soon as they possibly can, should have tube preamps, and what better option than Manley? They are truly the experts in tube gear. I tried the Chandler Limited TG2 and loved it. It works well on everything, vocals, electric guitars, rooms, wherever you put it, it works wonderfully. Then we have the AEA, this is the RPQ3, which is basically a preamp designed specifically for use with ribbon microphones. Avalon, which is a brand that wasn't really on my radar. Then this one we have a Focusrite. This is a more vintage piece of gear. It's older from the time when Rupert Neve worked at Focusrite, but this one is broken, so it has to go to the doctor. It has noise in one channel, so I haven't been using it much. Then we have the Stam Audio SA78T Plus, also a clone. Made here in Chile, which basically it is like an 1176 in one unit, but it is not exactly the same circuit. And these are 3 effects that I also use in an analog way
with the console's auxiliaries. We have a chorus that is like the Dimension D, which Sound Toys and Universal Audio both have a plugin for. This Clark Technic version, which is from Behringer, is actually super cheap.
And that sounds really great. Nice.
Next we have the Yamaha SPX 900, and then there is the Bricasti, which is one of the most famous analog reverbs, and it sounds absolutely wonderful on everything too.
Now once our legs come back to life, we'll head over to the rack on the other side. This is what I call the cemetery bay. All this gear is here, they're dead. They haven't died, but these need some kind of repair. The one I really want to save from here is the Lexicon, which is the PCM 90, which is a really nice reverb.
And moving over here, this is where I set up everything for my master channel whenever I'm mixing a track. The SSL Fusion, which I'm looking at now, wondering if I should replace it with this one that just arrived. This is brand new. It's the Rupert Neve Designs Master Bus Transformer.
This is actually my main compressor, which happens to be
an SSL clone from Stam Audio. The traditional version 1, the same controls, an almost identical copy of the original. This is a parallel treble EQ, the Clariphonic, which is also very well known and really nice. And then moving down, this is a Poltec clone that has the unique difference of having the Poltec mid-range band included in the same unit. So it has the main controls, and also the mid-range gives it a bit more added versatility. It sounds great on the snare and on vocals. And this is another EQ, the JDK Audio EQ-R24, which was my first equalizer ever. Let's keep going this way. These are other preamps to complement the ones we already have in the other rack and in the console. Great.
Could we go and see the rest of the studio now?
Of course.
But before we go into the recording room, before seeing the mics and instruments and things like that, let's see the facilities and also see if you can tell us a bit more of the studio's history.
Perfect. Well, this is the lounge area, or the kitchenette, as we usually call it. Here you can relax and you can kick back. If we ever want someone who is being a little too annoying in the control room, we just toss them in here and close the door. And here is one of the single most important machines in the whole studio, the coffee machine. Any equalizer or compressor can break down, but this one simply cannot fail.
Let's go this way. I'll show you the audiovisual studio. Excuse us, guys. We're going to show the space here to Jose. This is the audiovisual studio. We have a cyclorama here, but lately, truth be told, it's been used more for playing PlayStation than for anything else. This way. All right. So I'm going to show you the cabin right now, where our artists actually stay whenever they come here to visit. This cabin actually has 2 different rooms inside, and this is one of them. This is where our artists stay. We have 2 bunk beds here, and they come with their own separate entrance and a private bathroom. Here the artists and all the bands who come can bring their things and cook for themselves here. They can be here in complete peace. And as you've seen, the cabin is directly connected to the studios, so they are literally just steps away from their bed to the control room, the master bedroom, the one everyone fights over when they come here. We'll head over to the terrace in a moment, but first, this whole project truly began during the pandemic, right after I had already decided to escape from the city of Santiago. I had a friend who had already moved to Pichilemu a few years back, and to keep it brief, he offered to build a studio here for us to get together, to partner up, and that's basically how the idea started. Originally, the studio was going to be in his house, which was right next door, and due to various circumstances, we had to move the studio out of the house, and the idea of building something from scratch started. It was going to be something small, a beach studio with a little cabin, and it just kept growing and growing until it turned into all this, which is basically a music studio, an audiovisual studio, 2 cabins, and a terrace. Let's go this way. I'll show you the terrace. This is the other of the 2 cabins we have here. This one is a little bit smaller, and it only has 1 bedroom inside. It is also completely and fully equipped. So you've got everything you need to cook for yourself. Now, this particular unit, it only has 1 bedroom, but we've actually managed to fit 3 separate beds in there. So you can fit 3 people here, 3 musicians, or maybe even, if they're close friends, 2 crash here, 2 there. let's go.
Awesome.
Let's go.
It's winter, but luckily it's a truly wonderful sunny day. This is one of the spaces we use the most, especially in the summer, but we honestly enjoy it all year round.
We have a great view from here, Punta de Lobos, which is one of Chile's main waves for surfing, and I would say it is even one of the best in South America. We have also a bar, here where we can take good care of our artists. Very important, with a beer machine. The coffee one and the beer one. Those are the most important ones. The ones that cannot fail.
This space is for relaxing.
And this is the part of the terrace that is also enclosed. It's very common here that artists come and set up there as well so they can produce before going into the studio. This little gem is one of the ones that also arrived not too long ago.
So basically, this is the fun zone. We come here to relax, to have a good time, to jam, or to have a beer. There's another place I want to show you, one of the places that caught my attention the most.
I think we're going there. I'm not sure which one it is.
Please follow me this way. Besides, well, obviously there is this, the foosball table, which unfortunately we left outside in the rain and the wood swelled up, so we are eventually going to have to fix it. We also have a ping pong table upstairs, important. So far no one who has come by has beaten me. I'm waiting for the first person to arrive who can pull it off. Over here are the entrances to the main cabins, so we don't get lost. We started using these and they turned out nice. Well, not a small thing. Also, it's worth mentioning that there's significant work on landscaping. For us, it was important that the place, the environment, have plenty of green, plenty of nature. And, of course, when it first started, when all this was first done, it was just dirt with some tiny plants. After 1 year, it's like this.
So it's something that makes us very proud because we put a lot of love, a lot of effort into making it look beautiful. Now follow me over here to the secret place.
That pizza oven looks incredible.
But for making human pizzas, I don't know if you're familiar with temazcales. This is a temazcal. You could say a more ergonomic one. Normally, the temazcales I knew before are made with hides and some sticks at the bottom that are done on the grass. This is a temazcal made of concrete with seats. It's more comfortable. And where we've held ceremonies with some of the bands that have come. And for those who don't know, the temazcal is a ceremony that I think has Mexican origins, where basically this is the womb of the earth. And you go in there and then come out and are born again, and it involves volcanic stones that are heated to an extremely high temperature, and basically inside it is like a hellish sauna, but that also has several physical effects that put you in a very good mood. And we also have this dedicated space here for bonfires. We have done some ceremonies here. We have even kicked off some productions for bands that have come with a little fire here, so it is also a very special and unique place. I think I'm also going to show you the little lagoon, which is a place that serves as inspiration for when you want to compose something or unlock your creativity.
No, this is incredible. This is truly amazing.
And this isn't just, you've only scratched the surface of what's here so far. I haven't even shown you the half of it, but I'm going to show you everything now, and you'll see it's not just for looks. And I'll tell you, this isn't just for decoration or something purely aesthetic, but all the gray water from both the studio and the main house is actually reused, filtered, and eventually ends up right here. It goes through a comprehensive filtering process, first with machines and then through another natural filter before reaching this pond. So essentially, we're able to water this entire park using only reused water. Because the water situation here in Pichilemu, and frankly, in many places around the world, is becoming increasingly delicate and is starting to get quite scarce. So, in an effort to be a bit more ecological and greener, we make sure to reuse all that water. And as you might be able to see in the video, we also run entirely on solar panels for the studio's energy, powered by batteries. I'll also show you another special place, one that only a select few have had the good fortune to see around here.
So, Jose, if you get the chance to come in the summer, you'll be able to use this here.
This space right here, it's essentially a reverb room.
Forget about the pool. What it actually is the reverb room. But seriously, a heated pool, basically it can be used all year round. And the cool thing is that it's enclosed if you want it enclosed, or if not, if you want it open. If there is one that happens to be unlocked, you can also open it. And finally, follow me right this way. There's no way this is a beach studio. There's no hot tub either, is there? It's actually quite nice and warm in here, so feel free to jump in later if you'd like to as well.
I'd love it.
So that it is not all work, but there can also be a little time to relax, have fun, and rest. Oh, and there is one more place I want to show you right now. Just a small disclaimer. We are in winter now, so obviously everything is not quite grown or fully developed yet, but right here we have an organic garden where we grow all of our own vegetables. When we basically have all the meals included for our recording artists, we make sure to use the fresh vegetables from right here. At this time of year, there is not much. We have some chard and what is left of some little tomatoes. But in general, we have lettuce, we have chard, we have green onions. We even have an apple tree growing right here. So, you know, a little bit of everything. Back to the music. Well, this is what we refer to as the live room or the recording room. It's 6 meters by 8 meters, by almost 4. It was 4.5 meters, but after the acoustic treatment, we lost about 50 centimeters. It is a box-in-box structure, basically an entire room inside the concrete room that is mechanically decoupled, so there is absolutely no noise transmission. The room itself is actually divided, you could say, into two distinct sides. One side that is considerably drier, which is the side where you are currently standing. That particular wall, that wall is essentially absorbent and also acts as a bit of a sound diffuser. And with this particular technique that we've employed, we've intentionally left the concrete exposed so that the room feels a little more lively. But we also have the option to dry it out even further if that becomes necessary. By simply drawing the acoustic curtains we've installed. This wasn't part of the original plan, but later we realized it could be useful to have that flexibility. In some cases, they've also asked us to take out the rugs to have a livelier room. In the end, we can adapt to whatever is needed. And if you notice here, some of the panels are absorbent and others are diffusers. Obviously, this entire pattern isn't random. It's carefully designed to follow a very specific diffusion pattern. And if you notice, they're not flat surfaces. They each have a particular angle that basically makes the sound break up a little more. In here and up above, the diffusers on the ceiling have a three-sided inverted pyramid design, which I won't say we stole, but we based it on a beautiful studio we saw in England. It wasn't exactly the same. They were four-sided pyramids, but in this case we made them with three, and it works well, it looks good, and it also sounds great. And this is like the standard miking setup we usually do here. Obviously it'll depend on the drummer's style. Some bring their cymbals, their snare, but this is like the most standard thing in general. For the kick drum we usually use 2 or 3 microphones, among which this one for me was a discovery. As a kick-in, this is the Beyerdynamic TG-D71. It's similar to a Shure Boundary mic, I think the Beta 91. Right, this. An engineer who came here to work brought it once, I heard it, loved it and bought it right away. This is always the base of any kit. This always goes inside, regardless of whether it's used in the mix later, right? And another. This was a recommendation from Garth Richardson when he was here doing a production, which was the sub-kick, which we didn't have, and we also had to order one for the album he was producing. And well, this one too is a clone of the FET, made by Stam Audio, also in Chile. So that's like between those 3 microphones we move around for the kick, depending on what's needed there for the session. Normally we also put one over here, the crotch mic as they call it, or the knee, which we don't have right now, but sometimes we use it. The overheads are really nice microphones. They are AKGs and I believe the model is the C451. They are vintage and sound incredible. It is a bit like the style of the Neumann KM184, but these are AKGs and they work just great. We also have an alternative, which are the C Electronics SE8 microphones. The pair costs $499 and they have nothing to envy the Neumanns or these. Sometimes we rotate them depending on the mood of the day. The snare, always, without fail, the 57 goes there. Sometimes, we also combine this particular mic with another one placed right here on the side, and that second microphone, more often than not, would typically be something like the... Oh look, here is the SE8 I mentioned before. Sometimes we do this combination here, we sum the two, and record a single channel. We use the console to sum the two signals together. For the toms, in this particular instance, we actually had the Sennheiser MD421 microphone setup. It's also, a very standard and quite popular choice for recording toms. The unmiked positions are for the rooms. We usually use our Neumann U87 pair for those, and this one was also mounted here. This is the one we had mounted here, and it's a really high-end microphone, and it sounds truly beautiful, I must say. It's a tube mic, the Manley Reference Gold. A very transparent microphone for the most part, but with an air that I think few mics have. It sounds beautiful. It's not always the first choice for vocals, but in this case we had it set up here for what we were going to do. Really great choice. For the guitars, look, I'll start with the acoustic. This is one of the pride and joys of this studio. This is a Martin. This is the 00041. It is truly beautiful. I find this to be like a true piece of fine art made into a guitar. It's a brand new instrument, and I really feel like it still needs some time to properly settle in acoustically. We've had guitars come in that are in a slightly lower category, shall we say, but that have actually sounded significantly better than this one, right out of the box. But I think it is just the way these instruments go, so they really need to age a little bit. Then for electrics, we have several different options. Here we have some others that I will show you inside, but you simply cannot be without a Les Paul in a professional studio. It's quite special because it's the classic model of the 120th anniversary of Gibson, which I thought they had modified, but actually it comes like this from the factory, where instead of having the other tone knob, it has a switch that basically activates a boost in the circuit. It's like having a boost pedal right there in your hand, and the pickups are coil tappable, really nice. And besides that, I have to admit and tell the truth, I went for this one because of the color. Many of the guitars I have had throughout my life have caught my eye first, and then after that they caught my ear. And this was my first truly high-quality guitar I ever owned, back during the year I spent living in Vancouver, Canada. It's a genuine custom shop, a classic 60s era model, essentially a faithful reproduction of a Stratocaster from the 1960s. My very first guitar, actually, if I could just show you, I even have it tattooed right here on my arm. And this particular one popped up on Marketplace. I had been gassing for one for a while, and when I saw it, I just couldn't resist. But it was primarily because we needed, well, I say we needed, but really, I desperately wanted to have that P90 pickup option, which for those who don't know, are kind of a sweet spot, sitting somewhere perfectly between the bite of single coils and the warmth of humbuckers. And this is a Rivolta Combinata, which isn't an expensive guitar at all. Made, I think, say, in Korea, and very high quality. It's semi-hollow. It's a really nice guitar, short scale. It's kind of tiny, comfortable, sounds great. A 12-string guitar, it's important to always have the option. This is a Guild that I also picked up on Marketplace. Most of the gear and instruments I bought used, I have to admit. This one turned out great. It is a mid-range guitar, but we have used it in major productions and it has held its own. The hardest thing about this guitar, obviously, is tuning it correctly. And a normal nylon string guitar, standard, it is the one that gets used the least, but sometimes the need arises to use a guitar of that specific style. And then if we move on to the amplifiers, I think it is a bit of everything, in general. If you notice, it is basically all tube. We do not have any solid state amps. We usually go for the more classic Fender side, 1x12, 4x10. Different flavors. This is the Fender Super Reverb amp, really nice because on top of that it has vibrato, it has a good spring reverb as well. It also has some really impressive clean tones. This one, looking for a bit more of a rock sound, was also the very first Marshall we had here, which is a model similar to the one Slash has, the Jubilee. It does not have all that much gain, but it has a very particular brightness and sound, simply exquisite, a plexi amplifier. The slightly smaller version, this is the 50, and even with the 50 you have to use it, it sounds too loud. Whenever I see a high watt, I immediately think of David Gilmour. Another different flavor altogether. This is maybe the one I have tried the least of all. I would not know its main characteristic, other than thinking of Pink Floyd or Gilmour in particular. Alright, now we're getting into some slightly heavier territory. We've got the dual and the triple rectifier models, and then this one, which is truly wonderful, the Mark V, a versatile amp that works for everything. Mesa Boogie is also a brand we get a lot of requests for, and it's incredibly versatile. This right here is a 2x12 cabinet. Then we head over to the orange corner, the Fanta Rockverb corner, with a large 4x12 cabinet. All of us rockers know this one well. This is a really nice amplifier, and they also make a combo version of this one. It's often really practical to have it as a combo, especially for us, because when we're playing shows out of town, it's just so much easier to transport a single unit than to deal with a separate head and a big cabinet. And this bass one right here, yeah, this is another orange bass amp. It sounds really nice, with plenty of mids, but still with great definition, so it really cuts through the mix. It's used a lot for bass, especially in rock and heavier genres. And now, moving over to the other side, continuing with the bass amps, this is a brand I didn't know until recently, which is Ashdown. I was thinking of Aguilar for a second there. No. The caps are Aguilar, but the head is an Ashdown, which is an older model that, from what I understand, I've been told is the one used, or at least one of the ones used by Paul McCartney. It's a really fantastic tube head, and it sounds
incredible, absolutely phenomenal. And 4x10 and 1x15.
So, depending on the specific needs of a project, we'll select the appropriate microphones. Let's head over this way now. This is our dedicated amp recording booth, and it's also the dedicated mic locker. Here we can place amplifiers, so we can isolate them from the room mics when bands want to record live, everyone playing at the same time. So we can put a couple of amps in here. We have 2 sends and 2 returns. It is very useful because it has become quite common for bands to come in here wanting to record live. This is for storing shoes, but it works for storing cables too. I found it on Pinterest. I've gotten some good studio design ideas from there. I have to find something to hang these stands on to organize them. I already have something roughly in mind, like hanging them all up there, but we're going step by step. And here are the paint brushes, as I call them. Let's see some I can show you. Classics. You can't be without Neumann U87. Sounds good on all. This is also a microphone that might not be as widely known out there, but it's one we actually use quite a bit here, mainly because it's a ribbon mic. I really appreciate and love the unique sound of ribbon microphones. This mic is an SE Electronics and Rupert Neve collaboration, which is a ribbon microphone as well. I mean, just look at this beautiful specimen. Seen it? This one?
Never heard of it?
But yeah, I mean, it really is a very nice microphone. Well, the 421s that are already set up, those are always a pretty solid and consistently reliable option for us to have on hand. This is the clone of the Sony C800G, but this is the very first version. It is like the Mark I, as they call it, of the Sony. Look at the pretty coffin it comes in. This is a very nice mic. If we are going to record something more pop, more modern, this is the #1 choice. It is also a truly excellent choice. This one gets used a lot, the Electro Voice RE20, another classic. In the black version, the Tom York version, as I call it, I've used it a lot on kick drums, on bass amps, and on vocals. The first time I used it on vocals was, we did a live session here, which we've done for our YouTube channel with Gepe, and this was for the voice. It sounded amazing. We have some small condenser microphones. This one right here is a SonarWorks, which is a measurement mic, and curiously it once occurred to me to use it, I believe, for the specific purpose of recording a bass amp.
For bass.
Yeah, that sounded good. Sometimes you just have to get creative and experiment with a whole bunch of different things to see what works. A measurement mic, we used it on a bass and it worked well, and that's more or less what we have for microphones and gadgets and accessories. And it's also incredibly important to have a wide array of adapters on hand. You'll need different cables, like male to female, female to male, and various other types. And naturally, you'll need different cable length. Look, to take full advantage of the height determined by the studio, we made this mezzanine that we are still not entirely sure what we will use it for. At one point, we used it as an office area for a printer and computers, but now, as you can see, it is a bit of a storage room, but this is where things get even more fun for us. Now I can stand up here, I don't know. What about you, Jose? Do you want it higher? We're setting up the synth room here. So basically, if you need to do keyboard production, you can set up here with your gear, with your interface, and it's all connected to a mixer. Everything's going to be running at the same time. Whatever synth you play will sound, and you can record it right away. Plus, we have audio connections here that go to the control room, so eventually you could even be playing right here, monitoring everything from the control room and recording it.
I am so very happy to have had you here, happy to have been part of this studio tour video series too, and well, I invite all of you to check out everything we have here. Our social media, Los Lobos Records. We are here in Pichilemu with the wonderful view of Punta de Lobos, so thanks to you too, Jose, for coming, and I am happy to have you here, hopefully recording and producing some drums. I hope so.